At 2.66 miles, Talladega Superspeedway is the largest track on the NASCAR circuit. Every inch of this track is packed with tight racing and the possibility of the big one right around every turn. The drivers dread the uncertainty that Talladega provides, but the fans love every minute of the close racing. This is Talladega. There's no place quite like it.
Welcome back to NASCAR Heat Evolution Career Mode. Today we're here at Talladega Superspeedway for the running of the Geico 500. This is LEIA's first race at this track, and it is the biggest track in NASCAR, and we expect to see some Superspeedway action here today. Last time we were at a Superspeedway was at the Daytona 500, and LEIA did okay. She finished in the top 20, so we'll see if LEIA could do just that here at Talladega, but this is a different track than what we see at Daytona. It is much wider and much more exciting. LEIA starts in the rear. Well, she didn't start exactly in the rear of the field, but she started near the rear of the field because our car, of course, is not up to par yet, so we don't expect to qualify very high yet. Maybe in our second season, we might get better results as it progresses. But LEIA Walker now dead last and just trying to get as much draft as possible. So our focus is not really to win this race as much as we want to win at Talladega, but we're just not there yet. So it'll take some time, and we're just going to have to draft these guys and hope for a good position at the end of the day. Now she's moved up through the field, and Kyle Larson didn't start off pretty well. Started 36th. That's unusual for the 42. But Larson had a pretty bad qualifying run, I can imagine, and so he starts in the back, and LEIA got right through him. So now almost 4 wide, 3 wide. If LEIA had been there earlier, it would have been a 4 wide situation, but still, though, it's pretty on par to what Talladega really is, how it's racing, except that they're pulling away. As you can see in the front very carefully, several cars are starting to pull away from the rest of the field, and that's not realistic. That's not what we normally see at Talladega and Daytona in both those tracks. We don't see drivers pull away. You could see them in like speedways, but in super speedways you don't see it, that they pull away. And I really don't know why they do, why the game has drivers pull away. I guess they want to give you a challenge, and they want you to draft as many cars as you can and make drafting important in tracks like these, but it's not realistic that drivers are pulling away at the front of the pack than the other cars at super speedway restrictor plate tracks. You just don't see that, so it's a real shame, because I would have loved to have been in pack racing with LEIA Walker, or any other driver, in fact. I would have loved to have done more pack racing, and while it would be a challenge to keep it 4 or 5 wide to avoid wrecking everybody and creating the big one, it is a challenge. It would have been fun. Like NASCAR 15 lets you do that, but in NASCAR Evolution it's very limited. So I would have loved to have pack raced more often, and it would have been a lot more funner too. So, and now LEIA's in 26, and she's just trying to catch up to the pack. This isn't what Talladega or Daytona normally is. Normally, just about everybody is like together, bunched up, trying to stay on the draft, trying to avoid wrecking each other, desperately trying to make moves, but at the same time trying to avoid wrecking each other. And this is not what we normally see at restrictor plate races, and it sucks too, but, well, she's just trying the best she can. We'll have to work our way around it. I know this doesn't look fun. This racing does not look fun to you, running at these tracks. I know some of you are doing career mode right now, your own career mode, and you probably have this problem. So I'll try to work. I'll try to work through it. I can't work around it, but I'll have to work through it, and we'll have to trudge on through. And next season, probably super speedways will be a lot better if LEIA Walker does come back for next season, which I'm pretty sure it may be. But anyway, now McMurray, she passes the 1, and now she's back 3 wide racing. She's back in the swing of things as she's closing in on the top 20. That's roughly where she finished at Daytona, so she's actually doing a bit better than how she did at the Great American Race earlier. We have 2 more restrictor plate tracks later this season, and she's hoping to improve on both of those as well. And now here she comes on the bottom for the 20th spot, trying not to go below the yellow line. I think there are penalties for passing below the yellow line, just like NASCAR would in real life. But yeah, so Leia's just trying to avoid the yellow line, trying not to get a penalty. She can't afford one, definitely. And now drafting Casey Mears up in the front. And here she comes, gonna have to try to pass him on the high line. And she's closing in on Eric Amarola in the 43. Oh man, she is just really having a little bit of a hard time getting by the 13, trying to clear the Geico machine. And they're wire to wire now, so yeah. And Amarola is hanging on to that position. By the way, there's not going to be any pit stops in restricted plate races. Even though I set them to 4X, for some reason, super speedways give you enough fuel to finish the entire race. The tires would be a concern, but the AI does not pit because they can make it on fuel, and they don't mind the worn tires. But it does add a little bit of a challenge. It does add a little bit of a challenge because the tires get worn. Your car does not run as fast, and, well, it becomes tougher to go up to top speed, especially when you need every speed you could get at tracks like these. It becomes a challenge, so you'll have to work your way through it. And if you pit, you pretty much, well, won't be able to catch up unless if there's by some miracle, there's a caution. But so far, there hasn't been one in any of the restrictor plate tracks I've been in. Even though the cautions are on, obviously. You saw a couple races ago, we had a wreck fest at Texas. We had like 3 or 4 cautions in that race. But this one's completely different, though. This looks to be a caution-free race, unless if we get into a big wreck later on. Hopefully we don't, because that's going to bunch the field, and it's going to make things a lot more challenging. Now she's in the top 20, so she's done pretty good. Not too bad. She started around in the back of the field, has worked her way up to the top 20. That isn't really a bad day. I know Leia's had a bad couple races. Some of them were because her pit crew was really slow. And well, yeah, you could blame the pit crew for some of our terrible finishes with the team. But now she's working to 20th so far, so she's done well in her average. And using every position she could get. She tried to get through Amarola, but well, couldn't get to the 43. And yeah, I mean, just wow. Amarola is just tough. I just got a notification that William Byron won the truck race. Obviously, this video is going to be up a few days after the race in the Sprint Cup Series, and I'm recording this on the day of the truck race in New Hampshire. And now there's a caution. Who knew? Yeah, and by the way, William Byron won the race in New Hampshire a couple days ago, so that's the notification I got. I'm recording this on the day of the truck race. How funny is that? And I'm posting it a couple days later. What are the odds? Anyway, I still have a lot more to do, and I'll try to have 1 or 2 career mode videos every day here on TA2 Racing. Anyway, a green-white checker here at Talladega. Well, because they don't give you information on what caused the caution, I don't know who was the driver that spun out, or was there a big one? There wasn't one in the front, there must have been one in the back. But caution came out, and we have a green-white checker here at Talladega. And for some reason, they only give you 1 attempt at a green-white checker. You saw that green-white checker attempts 1 of 1. They only give you 1 attempt. There is no overtime line, by the way, in any of the tracks. So if there's a wreck before the white flag, the race is over. So that sucks that they have the 1 attempt at Talladega green-white checker when the other tracks have the 3 attempts. They have by the way, NASCAR Evolution uses the old green-white checker rule where they have the maximum of 3 attempts. They don't have the overtime line or something like that. They give you 3 attempts at a green-white checker. But in super speedways, they only give you 1 attempt. That's the old rule. That's the controversial rule. And I don't know why they kept it in. I hope they fix this. I hope they add the overtime line in every track. That would make it a little bit more realistic. Or better yet, have the option to turn them on or off, or set whatever green white, however finish you would want, if there is a necessity for a green white checker finish. Good thing about these restarts, though, is that LEIA has gained a couple more spots. She was running in the 20th position, and now she's going to try to make it to the top 15. Now she's battling with Stenhouse Jr. to the line. I can't tell who won the race until I show you the final results, but here comes LEIA. Final turn down the straightaway. Kurt Busch is in her way. Not going to get through him. But let's see if she keeps 15th. She will. She'll get a top 15 finish today. So the green-white checker finish actually benefited the number 28. She works her way up to the 15th spot. So not a bad day here at Talladega. In fact, it was a better day than what she did at Daytona in terms of restrictor plate races. And here's how the rest of the field finished. And who caused the caution? I think it was Casey Mears in 40th. The winner was Kevin Harvick and the number 4 machine, and I think that's his second win this season, if I'm not mistaken. And let's see how much money we've earned. And we did earn a lot of money here today. Not much because we only have 2 sponsors, but we did get money from both our sponsors and, of course, our main sponsor every race. We always get that. And the standings, yep, that was Kevin Harvick's second win this season. So Harvick fans very happy that their driver got their second win of the season. And before we go, we have ourselves another tweet from another famous driver you're about to see in about a couple seconds. And here it is, as our next race will be at Kansas Speedway. Here's the tweet. Kyle Busch says, "You are starting to make a name for yourself out there. Keep pushing. Hashtag big things coming for you." And big things are coming for LEIA as we head to our next race at Kansas. We'll see you there.